In Chapter 7, what we're going to do is we're going to work on recoding our data. Recoding our data can become very, very useful when we're trying to collapse categories and make our data a little bit more manageable. So like we noticed in the last chapter that we did, the authors of the book started to collapse the categories of religious services and how often people attend religious services to make those categories just a little bit more manageable. So what I'm going to teach you how to do is, instead of having to do that by hand, I'm going to teach you how to do this in SPSS and have those categories be collapsed for you, so you don't have to do the addition by hand for the frequency or the percent of people who answer a certain way. What we're going to do in this chapter, in Chapter 7, is we're going to go through 4 different examples. This can get a little confusing at times, so I want to make sure you guys understand it. So I'm going to go through all 4 examples that they have in the book. So again, let's start off with the religious services, or how often the respondent attends religious services, just to refresh your memory in case you aren't doing these all back to back to back, just to refresh your memory. So again, we want to get frequencies first. So just a refresher, to get a frequency, you go to descriptive statistics and frequencies. And once you do that, if you have anything in here from prior sessions, you just can go ahead and reset it to make it clear. And then what you'll do is you're going to come down to religion, and you are going to, actually we are going to go to attend. Sorry about that. I'm going to go to attend, and you're going to click that over here and make sure that this display frequency tables is present or checked, and click OK. And from your output, what you can see is we have a lot of categories here. Never, less than once a year, several times a year, once a month, 2 to 3 times a month, nearly every week, or more than once a week. And where this can be kind of confusing, what we can do is collapse it and make it into more manageable categories, such as never, seldom, 1 to 3 times a month, and about weekly. So we're going to collapse categories. We'll keep the never category the same, but we're going to collapse those less than once a year and once a year and several times a year. We're going to combine those all together and just call that seldom. And then we're going to combine the once a month and the 2 or 3 times a month categories together and call that 1 to 3 times a month. And then we'll collapse the nearly every week, and more than once a week categories together, and we will call that weekly. So how we do that is we go up to transform, and you're going to transform or recode into a different variable. All right, now see where it says recode into a same variable? You never, ever want to do that. What that does is it overrides the original variable with whatever you do here. So if you make a mistake, you can't go back and fix it. So always, always, always recode into a different variable. Okay? So you have to start out with the variable you're going to originally recode. So we are going to take the original variable attend and recode it into something new. Now in your book, they label this as church attendance, or CHATT, just to give them a new variable name. You can't call it the same. What I do, and this is personal preference, you can do whatever you prefer, is I always label my recoded, REC for recode, attend, the original variable. So that way I know that this is a recoded attendance variable, and I can keep in my data set anything that I've changed, any variable I changed, I know exactly what variable I made that from. So feel free, in the book, like I said, they call it CHATT for church attendance, and then they label it that in this label category. However, I label it as recoded attendance is what I would label that as. Okay, and then you click change, and you'll see that it populates that new variable label right here. So the next step is is you go here and you click old and new values. Okay, and this is where it's very important to know how your original variables were coded. So we might have to get back out of here just to show you guys how that was originally coded, and I don't think it'll let me do this. So we're going to have to just cancel this out and close this output. Click no, and I recommend you go to variable view, scroll up, and you'll see, oops, it still has me on there. So scroll up and find attendance and come over here. You want to know the values. And I always get a piece of paper out and I put what I want my old values to be and my new values to be. So I want my new values to be, I want 0 to stay or become 4, because that's going to be they never go to church, because I want lower numbers to be more often that they go to church, or to show that they're more religious. Okay, I want the seldom numbers, so the less than once a year, or several times a year, to now be coded 3. So they are originally coded 1, 2, and 3. So I want 1, 2, and 3 to equal seldom. Okay, and I'm writing this down on a piece of paper as I go. I want 0 to equal never. I want categories 4 and 5 to now equal 1 to 3 times a month. And I want categories 6, 7, and 8 to equal about weekly. Okay. And then you will see 9 is that don't know or not applicable. I want that to be missing. And so that is already labeled missing for us, so we really don't have to worry about it. You can see that it's missing, but I do something when I recode my variables just to kind of double check that. So again, now that we have all our variables, or our values, we're going to go in here, recode into a different variable, find attendance, click it over. Again, call it whatever you want. This is just my preference. And then I do recoded attend, change, and come to these old and new values. And these old and new values is where your recoding actually really starts to happen. So again, remember, I want my never to now be the highest number in my new recoded variable, and I want my about weekly, or the more times that you go to church, I want that to be value 1. So I always find it's easier to start with my never. So my old value of never was 0, and I'm now going to have the new value of never be 4. So what this is basically saying is, if it was a 0 before, which corresponded to never, it is now going to be a 4, which is still going to correspond with never. I'm just kind of changing this a little bit. Then what I will do is I want values 1, 2, and 3, because those are going to be my seldom, right? Those were kind of my yearly measures, to now be value 3. So it's a range of 1 through 3, and that is going to be now value 3. Okay? And then I want the range of 4 to 5 to now be a value of 2. And remember that it's going to eventually be my 1 to 3 times a month. And I now want my variables, or my values 6 through 8, to now equal 1. And you can click add. Remember, we saw that 9 was don't know applicable. So you can sit here and you can put 9 equals system missing. And that means they will code 9 as missing. And then what you can also do, and I do this just to kind of double check, is I always click this system or user missing and have it be the new value is system missing. You will see this in the book. This is just something I have gotten used to doing. It just kind of double checks and makes sure all your missing values get coded as missing in your new recoded variable. So you'll click continue, right? And so you'll have all this good stuff right here, and then you will click OK. and your output screen is going to come up, and it's basically going to say what you did. So it's going to say now 0 equals 4, 9 equals system missing, missing equals system missing, 1 through 3 now equals value 3, 4 through 5 now equals value 2, 6 through 8 now equals value 1. And that's all been coded into whatever you recoded that to. So you can get rid of that. Click no. If you scroll down in your variable view, you will see that you now at the end will have recode attendance. What I recommend very, very quickly while you're doing this so you don't forget is come over here and click on your values. And really quickly, before you forget, and again, I highly recommend you write this down on a piece of paper, you start to put what these values are. So 4 now is the label, never. 3 we're going to call seldom. 2 we're going to say 1, 2, 3 times a month. And again, you can call this whatever you want. In the book, they call it about monthly. And then 1 is about weekly, and add. And then what you'll see, click OK. You will see it now, it pops up right here. And so that's really nice that you can see that it's there. Everything's good. It's good to go. And you can go and actually use this variable. I will give you a piece of advice. Always double check it. And I'll show you how to double check that in a moment. So you click OK. This is a nominal variable. It's already there. But how you double check this is go up to Analyze, go to Descriptives and Frequencies, and you will see that you already have attendance here. Keep that there. That's the original variable before you recoded it, right? But then now also go in and put the recode attended variable in there. And again, the reason I recode my variables and label them as I do is it's easier for me to do this too. I know that these are the two variables that I need to compare at the end. And so what you do to just double check is make sure these numbers correspond to the right, make sure that the categories were collapsed correctly. So first of all, we didn't do anything with never. We just made that, we just recoded it, but we left it still similar. So never should be 382 in this table, and never should also be 382 in this table, which it is. Missing should be 6 in this table, should also be 6 in this table, right? And then start looking at the categories. So if we said 1 to 3, or the about weekly, let's start there. We are adding 59, 281, and 96 together. And you will see that equals 436. So you know that we added this, or it was recoded correctly. You can do the same thing for about 1 to 2 times a month. If you add 104 and 132, right, you should get 236, and here you go, you get 236. Same thing with the seldom. If you had 90, 197, and 153, you'll get 440. Right, and that's what you get when you add these three together. So that is just the way to double check and make sure that you recoded the variable correctly. So we're going to go through this a couple more times because I know this can be confusing, right? And this can be a little tedious at times. So I want to go through this at least 2 more times, and maybe we'll go ahead and do all 3 times. So that was a categorical variable that we used. Pretty easy, pretty basic categorical variable. But now let's use a continuous variable like age. So we're going to start with the same thing. I'm going to recode into a different variable. Again, you can reset here. Okay. And if you follow the book, we're on page 108. Come down and find age. Click here. Now again, they called it age cat because I think they're calling it categorical age. Again, I will always call mine REC age and put recoded age here. And old and new values. And you will see what they are asking us to do is to make the ages 18, oops, not 19, 18 to 21 now be category 1. And you can see all of this on page 108. They want age range 21 to 39 to be 2. Now notice that there's no overlap in the age categories, so I made a mistake here, which is really good. They want actually 18 to 20 to be 1. So if you noticed, I had originally put 21 and 21 to 39. This would have messed up the data set because they wouldn't have known how to categorize the age 21. Should it go in category 1 or category 2? If you make a mistake like this, what you can do is you can click on the one that you've made a mistake on, and you can come back over here and correct it, and then hit change. And now you will see 18 through 20, and you'll see 21 through 39. They want to make 40 through 64 category 3. I'm going to add that. And then 65 through 89, which again, remember your maximum was 88. So that's why they stopped that before. You knew that from the frequency that we did earlier today or earlier in the book. Make that category 4. And once again, like I said, I would always click system and user missing and make that system missing and add. That way you collect any of the missing categories. Once you have that, click OK. Again, this is just telling you what you did. You can X out of that and click no, you don't want to save it. You will see recoded ages come back to here. You might want to go ahead and do your value labels here so you remember what you did. Remember, 1 was under 21, under 21. 2 was 21 to 39. 3 was 40 to 64. And 4 was 65 and older. Okay, click OK. And then again, if you want to run a frequency to make sure that's okay, you can. This is going to be very tedious to do. I'll just show you how to do it. No, but you'll run a frequency. Again, reset this, clear it out. You're going to want to do it with age, and then your recoded age will be down with your recode right here. Click OK, and then you can take this chart. So for the under 21, you'd add 9, 17, and 14, and make sure that that equals 40. And you could do the same thing as you go through here. So again, just another way to recode a non-categorical variable. So very kind of nice way to do that. So close out of this output. Click no, you don't want to save that. And now we can recode another one. Again, I know this is tedious, but this is really, really important, and students get this confused quite a bit. So I want to work through multiple recodes with you. This time what we're going to recode, and let me analyze it first so you guys can actually see what we're doing. We're going to recode an individual's political views. So we want to come up here and look at political views and run just a basic frequency on that. So if you see how they originally coded political views, they have extremely liberal, liberal, slightly liberal, moderate, slightly conservative, conservative, and extremely conservative. And so a way to kind of collapse these and make this more manageable is just label this liberal, moderate, and conservative. So knowing that, we need to figure out how we're going to code this. So we have to go get out of this, X out of here, click no. Come up here and look at our value labels. And again, this is where we get a piece of paper out. And we know that 0, 8, and 9 are our missing values, right? And they're already labeled missing. You can see that here. So that will be caught up in that sys missing, but we still might want to put 0, 8, and 9 as missing when we recode it. This is where you get your piece of paper out so you understand how you code. So what we're going to do is we're going to collapse categories 1, 2, and 3 into liberal, and we'll probably label that 1. We'll keep moderate as moderate, and we'll label that 2. And we'll take categories 5, 6, and 7 and label those all together as conservative. And we will label that 3. So knowing that information now, and after you write that down on your piece of paper, sorry, it's going a little slow today, you're going to come up to transform, recode into different variables, reset all this, go to your political views. Again, you can label it however you want. They kind of use the recode in the book. How I usually use this is on page 111 through 113 that you can see what they're doing. Again, I just will recode it as recode POL views. I could type today. And then recoded political view. I would change that. Okay. And remember, we said the range was 1 through 3 is now going to be 1, and that will be our liberal. I hit a wrong button, sorry. 4 was moderate. Again, that's just a single value, so we can go to 4 is going to be 2, and that will be moderate. Again, I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. 4 will be 2. We'll hit the add button. And then we have 5 through 7 will be 3. Remember, system or user missing, system missing. And if you're paranoid like me, remember 0, 8, and 9 were missing. So I just double check that. So I'll make 8 through 9 because it's a range is missing. And I will also come up here and put 0 as missing. So it's just a way to kind of double check and make sure that's okay. So click continue. You have your political views. Click OK. Again, this is telling you exactly what you did. Close that out. If you scroll down, sorry, you will see your new political views here. Go ahead and put your value labels in. 1 is liberal. 2 is moderate. And 3 is conservative. And you're okay. And then you're going to want to double check this with the frequencies. So again, with your frequencies, you come up to descriptives, frequencies. You can keep your political views in there. But we can come down to recoded political views. So that way we can check. Click OK. So you'll see the first one, the original variable, and then you'll see the second one. And so just because I can see the conservatives here, what you'll want to make sure is your moderate. See how moderate is 555. We didn't change that, so it's still 555. Then you'll make sure that this 195, the 218, and the 52 equal 465, which it does. And then you'll make sure that the 67, 191, and 145 for all the liberal categories equal this 403 right here. The book goes ahead and does this one more time with party identification with Democrat, Independent, and Republican, but it's very similar to this, so I'm not going to make you guys sit through another one. But if you have any questions on this, let me know. Again, shoot me an email, give me a phone call. I don't mind walking you through this. Again, I highly recommend you do the lab exercises. It uses a different data set, and on your quiz, I will ask you to recode a variable and give me the frequencies for your new recoded variable. So again, if you have any questions, please get in touch with me, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you.